Oh my gosh, this is off the chain. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Veg Treat Show. So today we are making a special summery dish. I call it a summery dish because it's light. It processes well through your system. It's not the heartiest dish, but it's very good for you. It's vegetable rich, and it is a great dish to eat really year round, but I feel like in the summertime, like this is the dish. And today what we're going to be making is succotash. Yes, succotash. There's a lot of different methods to make succotash. Let me show you the way that I was taught how to make succotash. Everyone has their own little ingredients they like to use, but let me show you how I get down in the kitchen. So what we're starting off, basically, we're going to use okra, tomato, corn, and onion. These are our base ingredients, and then we're also going to add our extra seasonings in there to give it that extra flavor. So we have our vegetables, we have our corn. This is whole kernel corn. This is a canned corn. You could also use corn on the cob if you want to cut the corn off the cob and do it that way. I'm just showing you the canned corn way. So we have our canned corn, we have our cherry tomatoes, and then we also have our okra. I rinsed them all off, so they're sitting here. I'm going to cut them up, and so we're going to mix them all together. So first, what I'm going to start off with, right here, we have my yellow onion, and I have garlic. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to take these garlic pieces. This is about a half of a clove. I'm sorry, not a clove, a half of a bulb of garlic. I'm going to cut these up, chop them up, and I'm going to start off and put those in the stove and cook them with oil. I'm going to use my avocado oil for this dish. So that's the very first ingredient that we're gonna add to our skillet is the garlic and the oil. One reason why I like to start off with garlic is because I feel like it really lays down the foundation of the flavor. Garlic just garlic is strong no matter what, but it really amplifies when you add heat and oil to it. All right, so we have our garlic. We didn't really cut it up too fine, which is fine. Fine. So, okay, let's turn our stovetop on. I had it at 0 right now, but I'm going to turn the heat back up. I'm going to push this to the side, and I'm going to also get started on the onion because that is the next ingredient we're going to add. The onion is also another great ingredient to lay down the foundation for flavor. So with this onion, we are going to do a half of the onion, not the entire yellow onion, because we really don't have that many ingredients. I mean, it's a good amount, but we really only need half. So we have our onions. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put it in its little compartment. We're just going to add about 2 teaspoons of avocado oil. Now some make succotash and they also prepare it with lima beans. Totally up to you. I find that with lima beans, it's a bit more hearty because you are including beans in your dish rather than more like of the lightweight vegetables. I mean, beans aren't vegetables, but you know, as we all know, the beans tend to be a little bit more filling than something like tomatoes or onions or okra, so. Okay. All right, so we have our okra cut. I'm going to pull those little tips out to the side because they're not my favorite pieces. I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. All right, so we have our smoked paprika. Let's put this in. This is going to help lay down the foundation of the slight smokiness that we want to achieve. This is just a half a teaspoon. And we're gonna let that cook. Now we need a little stir to make sure this is doing its thing. So what we can do in the meantime, we have our cherry tomatoes. I'm going to put them here, and I'm going to just cut these in half. I like chunky tomatoes. Totally up to you if you want to cut them even finer. If you do not have cherry tomatoes, or if you like to go more so with canned ingredients, you can also get the canned diced tomatoes. That will work totally fine in this recipe as well. Or if you even have whole tomatoes, you can dice those as well. So what we're doing, we're simply just cutting these in half. So fresh and so clean. I love them. I actually kind of like them more than like the whole tomatoes because I find that they are a little bit more nutritious and they are just a little bit easier to work with for me. Like if you're making a salad, if you want to cook down a tomato sauce, I really love working with cherry tomatoes. I just like the fact that I could just simply cut it in half and keep it moving. Okay, so a nice flavor is going. What we're gonna do next, we're going to add the onions. And then what I'm going to do next, I'm going to add my garlic powder and I'm going to add my onion powder. Let's mix this. So next what we're gonna do, we're going to add the okra because we want the okra to be more so on the cooked side. So let's add this fairly early. It's looking great. All right, so it's cooking. It's on a medium-high heat. What we're gonna do is add our tomatoes, and then we're going to add the corn, and we're gonna add the rest of the seasoning. Now we want to allow these tomatoes to break down so they're not necessarily like squirting in our face as we chew into the tomato. Have you ever had a cherry tomato and it's hot and then you eat it and it's like, yeah, not a great experience. So let's try to avoid that. That's why we need to cook them down. So, okay, so now we have our corn, tomatoes, okra, onions, and then we have our garlic. So far the ingredients I have left right here, I have cayenne, paprika, black pepper, and we already use onion powder. So let's move this to the side. So what you're gonna need is 1 teaspoon of cane sugar, and then if you need more sweetener, work your way up. But let's start off with 1 teaspoon. Okay. Did I add my paprika? No, I did not. So with my paprika, I'm going to do a 1/2 teaspoon. With my black pepper, I'm not going to do too much. Okay, so we're just doing a 1/4 teaspoon of the black pepper. Oh, and I forgot my cayenne. Let me add my little cayenne. So I'm just gonna do a little dash. I'm not even going to measure this. I am just going to do a dash of about 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne. Okay. Okay. Nice. So you want to stir it and mix it a little bit because you want that cane sugar to evenly distribute, and we do not want sugary patches of succotash. It's better to just take care of that before you even eat it. Right? Look at this. So it's coming together very, very nicely. I'm gonna see if I can get a little spoonful before I let this simmer, just to see if I can get a sense of the flavor to see what's going on. But it's looking good. All right, so let's show you how it is. So this is basically complete. We allowed this to simmer for about 10 minutes for a medium to high heat. And we're going to put this in our bowl and serve it to ourselves. So excited. So excited to share this recipe with you. And I hope that you make this dish yourself. It's very easy. As you can see, there's not a lot of starch, which makes it great. It's lightweight. You will not go straight to sleep after you have this. Gives a good amount of energy. Okay, so we're basically done. So we are back and we are here to try the Succotash. This is off the chain. And what I want you to do when you are making your succotash, follow the recipe in the description, because once again, I gradually added more seasoning in. That's when you're really working with the spirit, when you add seasoning as you go. Sometimes you don't measure everything perfectly at the very beginning, so it's okay. At the end, you know, quantify what you just did, and then you're good. I will add everything as far as my recipe, the amount that I added of each seasoning, the size of okra, the corn, the cherry tomatoes, I will add that all in the description. This is off the chain, and this is Succotash. Take care, and I'll see you soon.